the best personal credit cards for bad credit that are instant approval. And the reason they may be an instant approval for you is because sometimes they may give you a digital card, okay? But here's another thing about it. The reason that you may want to check these credit cards out before you run to the bank, and especially if you have bad credit or a credit union, is because these here are fintech companies and they give you more Mastercard, okay? Now, understanding there's the Deserve Pro EDU Mastercard, then there's the Deserve Pro Mastercard, and there's also another one, so you have to excuse me on that one. But talking about the Deserve Pro Mastercard and the difference with the Deserve EDU, it's more targeted toward people that are in college and stuff like that. But with the Deserve Pro Mastercard credit card, that one's targeted toward anybody. So especially if you're a person that's trying to rebuild your credit, you have a challenging credit, this is definitely that type of card. And the good thing about this, where you would maybe go out the secured card, right, and you have to pay money up front, this is an unsecured card. Another thing about it is that you don't have all these different high fees. So that's another thing that's good about this here card. Now, because it goes up to 10,000, that's a plus, you know, because a lot of creditors, especially if you have bad credit and stuff, they don't want to give you a lot of funding. They don't want to trust you with a lot of funding and stuff like that, right? So with the Deserve Mastercard, the Deserve Pro Mastercard, no hard pull, so you can pre-qualify to see what you actually qualify for before you actually going to get the card, okay? Then the next card, and you guys are familiar with, is the Upgrade, okay? Now, with the Upgrade credit card, 560 credit score, they go from $500 up to $50,000. Now, here's the thing I like about this Upgrade card. For some of you people that may be in like a bankruptcy, right? If you're like in a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, with Upgrade, they look over stuff like that. I have seen people that were in bankruptcies and stuff that have not been discharged, and they was approved for the Upgrade card. So I think that's a pretty good opportunity to just express that people with bad credit can actually have a fair opportunity, okay? Now, the minimum credit score is usually about a 560. The average credit score for them is maybe like about a 678 or something like that. Now, another reason that you want to check out these here credit cards, the banks and credit unions, their debt-to-income ratio is max 50-55%, okay? But with these here credit cards that I'm talking about, these fintech credit cards, one, they may not be inquiry sensitive. So even though you may have a lot of inquiries on your credit file, they may look over that, okay? Now, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but I'm just telling they may look over that, all right? And their debt-to-income ratio, is 75%, all right? So that's another good thing about it, especially when you're trying to rebuild your credit. Now, another card is the Petal 1. All right, I always talk about the Petal 1 and the Petal 2, but the Petal 1, it goes from 300 up to 5,000. Okay, so if you're an individual that just needs that fresh start, you have bad credit, the banks don't want to help you, credit unions don't want to help you, I would definitely check out the Petal 1 card to see what it is that they will be willing to help you with. Now, again, they pull TransUnion FICO 9, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But one of the things that I want you all to understand with these fintech companies, because they use different data points, it's not always about the credit score. So they may be looking at how long you've been on your job. They also may be looking at how long you've been at your place of residence. Most of the time, you do have to have an active email, phone number, and things of that nature. Some of the basic stuff you should have in an active bank account. But for the most part, they're focused on other data points than your credit score. So if you don't have a social, that's okay with Petal. So that's the reason that I picked these cards, because it's for anybody that's just starting out trying to rebuild their credit. Before we talk about the other credit cards, having the right type of accounts on your credit file, okay? Now, I always tell you guys, if you have, if you're paying rent with cash or money order, I tell you guys to sign up for one of the rent paying programs, all right? And the reason that I'm telling you that is so that you're not just paying out money for the benefit of having a roof over your head, but it also helps you build up your credit file, okay? And so that's the reason I tell you, like, if you have to get a secured credit card, you can get a secured credit card. I know some people just use Zelle or something like that, but you're not really getting any bigger benefit. You know, like I said, having a roof over your head is great, but when you have showing that you're able to actually pay your rent and it's showing up on your credit report, what that does, it helps you qualify for a mortgage. So that's the reason that I'm telling you guys, it's very important that if you're paying cash or money order, it's very important for you guys to switch it up so that can actually become a trade line. Another thing, if you're paying utilities and it's not reporting, that's the reason I tell you all to sign up with Grow Credit that reports like your Grow Credit that reports like your subscriptions and stuff like that. You got Ultra, which used to be Perch, that's invested by or backed by Jay-Z, and they report subscriptions as well as utilities, car insurance, gym membership. Those type of trade lines, you need to also thicken up your file. So if you have a challenging credit file with a lot of negative items, you need to try to put on there as many positive items as possible, especially when you're trying to rebuild your credit, okay? One question that did come up, a person said that he was worried about like a late payment that was over 12 months old. Was it affecting him? And I told him no. Now, in terms of like I would say with if you're getting an FHA loan, then they look at if it's 2 years. But like with credit cards and stuff like that, if it's under 9 months, it's really not tainting your credit. So with late payments or charge off, now if it's a charge off but it has a zero balance, that's not affecting your credit also. All right. So that being said, another credit card you can get with no money out of pocket for bad credit, you may want to look at the Tomo credit card. Okay, the Tomo Mastercard. Now, the reason that I tell you to check out this card, you have to understand that these credit cards, most of the time, they're all about what's your income, how long you've been on your job and stuff. It's not always about the credit score. So that's the reason I'm sharing these with you. For those of you that may have issues with your bank account or whatever, because with Tomo, they want to hook up with Plaid and to check out your bank account to see how often you're getting deposits into your personal checking account in order for them to approve you. All right, but as long as you have deposits going on and to your bank account, then you may not have any issues getting approved. Okay, just as long as you have positive transactions. All right. Now, another thing that I haven't mentioned in a while is that for you guys that use your debit card a lot, you can also use extra debit card app. So you download the app on your phone and then you hook your credit card up to it and stuff like that. And so all of your monthly transactions, they will report as well. Okay, and so that can be a trade line for you also. So I know some people are like, well, you know, I have a thin credit history, less than 2 years. Then that's when you have to possibly consider adding an authorized user, a good authorized user. You can't just add any authorized user to your credit file because it will not help, okay? Because it actually could hurt you. It could backfire and hurt you, all right? So if you have questions about the right type of authorized user you should be putting on your credit file, you can click the link below. Now, another thing about these here credit cards that I'm telling you is that they're on a FICO 9. Okay, so FICO 9 is one of your most flexible credit reports. Is your most flexible credit report. Now, with your FICO 8, that's from your major banks, like your Chase, your Bank of America. But like, if you was approaching a bank and you were looking for a FICO 9 bank, then that would be like your Wells Fargo, or that may be your credit union, like your Navy Federal Credit Union, or your PenFed Credit Union, okay? But the reason that